Baseball and Brews. It's presented by Xfinity Mobile. Thanks for hanging out with us on this Thursday evening. I'm Justin Gaard from the Fan, and joining us on Baseball and Brews, we got his webcam working. We got it positioned correctly. It's LaVelle E. Neal III. It's Wobble. What's going on, Wobbs?
There will be no Wobble Bingo today. I promise you.
There's been some bingo already. I've got my Wobble Bingo card here. Technical issues, number one. We both had a couple of technical issues, but they were all user-related, as they typically are. We're going to be hanging out here for the next 45 minutes or so. We're going to be watching the Twins and the Yankees. We're going to be giving away some great prizes. I'll give you some details on that in a second, but we appreciate Xfinity Mobile helping us out tonight. And Wobble, I'd say, what was rougher, the first inning for J Happ or you with your webcam that's for some reason on the bottom of your computer, which makes no sense? Who's had a more difficult evening so far?
Well, blame Michael Dell for how he's put the cameras on the bottom of the okay, I know he's a billionaire, but doesn't mean everything he does is perfect, okay?
Yeah.
But I think it's been worse on J.A. Happ. He gave a 3-run bomb in the first inning. Although I give him credit, it should have been 4-1, but he made a great play on a wild pitch that he received the throw on his offhand. So he reached out with his left hand and caught the throw, and then reached over and tagged out the base runner to avoid a 4th run being scored. The Twins scored a run. It's 4-1 now, but it's already a disaster because of the first inning runs by the Yankees and Alex Kirilloff chasing down a ball hit by, I think it was Gio Urshela. I think it was Urshela.
Okay.
Wrong. Twisted an ankle or injured an ankle going for it. So now he's out of the game. So now the Twins are now down to their 7th right fielder of the season to match their 7th center fielder of the season. So now your outfield is Larnach, Gordon, and Gilberto Celestino.
Oh, the guy who had a couple of errors on one play earlier in the week.
In Kansas City, that's correct.
Yeah, okay.
In Kansas City, yes.
So it's 3-1 right now. Twins are losing. Stanton's on the mound. Happ is in the third. He's thrown 59 pitches. J Happ, I just found out, lives like a block away from me right now. His family's not here yet. His kids, I think, are wrapping up school, but he's just a couple of blocks over. So if things go poorly, maybe I'll give him a beverage, because this is KFAN Baseball and Brews.
Did he buy or rent?
He rented.
Pretty quick. Okay.
Yeah,
good.
He rented. Yeah, like most professional ball players, especially on shorter-term deals. I mentioned the prizes. We're going to be here for the next 45 minutes, and we've got some amazing prizes that Xfinity has hooked us up with. We're going to give one of the prizes away about 15 minutes from now, and at 8:40 or so, we will give away what you see right here, a projector that you can use indoors, outdoors, obviously, but with also a 100-inch projection screen, which is tremendous. The way to enter is just use the hashtag that you see all over the place, KFAN Xfinity. KFAN Xfinity is the hashtag. So use that to enter. We've got a bunch of entries already. We're also giving away a volleyball badminton portable net and set that you saw in that graphic as well. So we'll give away the volleyball and badminton net here about 15 minutes from now or so, and then we'll go ahead and give away the projector and projector screen towards the end of the broadcast tonight. Wait a
minute. No tarp shooter, no initials game package for
none of that. No,
okay,
those aren't. No one gives those away. You can't give those away. Those are all, those guys need the money, so they can't.
It's all about greed with those guys.
Okay. Yeah, exactly. They're not as generous as Xfinity, so they're not helping us out with that. I gotta say, I don't know what the attendance is tonight. I know it's 80% capacity at Target Field, 100% over at CHS Field. You've covered a lot of Twins-Yankees games, Wobbs. You've covered a lot of important Twins-Yankees games. Not very many Twins victories, we know that. But usually when these two teams play, at least for the most part, it feels like something's on the line. And I'm looking at a wide shot at Target Field. It looks like good seats are available in the home run porch up there in the third deck. It just doesn't feel the same this year. And I know you wrote about it to start the week. Both teams have been disappointing, obviously. But with New York, you always feel like they'll figure it out, or they'll just buy a couple more players in the offseason. But like on the Twins side of this, there's just no buzz, Wobbs. That's what's just such a buzz kill, is that this is always one of the most anticipated series of the season, and it just doesn't have that same vibe this year.
Not at all, man. Not at all. A lot of it's because of the Twins and how they're playing right now. Mostly the pitcher staff has been underwhelming, and the decisions that the front office made as far as crafting this pitching staff have not worked out. Coleman May did not work out as a closer. They're still searching around for that. Hansel Robles has been okay at times, but other times he can't throw strikes. So they're still searching for like a ninth inning guy. It's great to say you have like multiple options for the ninth inning, but when in reality you should have like a guy to come in the ninth inning as this game is over. So they have to get over that part and start rotation. Let's face it, their decisions of sign Matt Shoemaker and J.A. Happ backfired. They have just not worked, and they did not assemble enough pitching depth in Rochester to come up and help. They relied on Randy Dobnak, which I could understand, but unfortunately, he's not throwing the ball well. After that, you've got like Bailey Ober, Yohan Duran, and Jordan Belizovich. And the last two guys have been banged up early in the season, so they're just getting back online. So they don't have a lot of starting pitching depth. So all this caught up to them. The fact that the bullpen's been a playpen at times, and the fact that you don't have a lot of starting pitching depth. And that's the one thing here. And JG, left-handed hitters are killing this team. It was a month ago, they were hitting 299 with like over a 900 OPS, which is like all-star caliber numbers. Now they've been better lately. It's in the 800s now. But still, they're batting 277 against the Twins pitching staff as a whole. And that's something you cannot fix. I just don't see how you can get out of that. And that's something that's going to dog them for the entire season. So that's why, I have my doubts about this team being able to sustain success long enough to even get us to think about the possibility of them climbing back into this race.
Well, they got out of that inning. It's still 3-1. Twins are up to bat now. Jorge Polanco looks like it's going to lead off here. He's hitting 346 if you care in his last 6 games, 3 home runs and 5 runs batted in. I just had those numbers off the top of my head. I'm such a ball guy. They didn't have that on Valley Sports North. If you're just jumping in, this is Baseball and Brews. We're presented by Xfinity Mobile. Guardsy and LaVelle hanging out for the next 40 minutes or so. If you want to enter to win some of our prizes tonight, use the hashtag KFAN Xfinity and also ask questions. I've got that hashtag up here as well. And the first question of the evening, Wobbs, is what's the best brew, because this is Baseball and Brew, for helping one forget that this season happened? And do you see any untouchables on the roster at the deadline?
As far as beer, you're asking a bourbon guy to comment on beer.
I figured you'd go bourbon. Go bourbon. That's fine. We can go bourbon.
No. I have tried the Udapel's KFAN beer, and I think it's actually
solid.
It's a very solid brew.
It's one of my wife's favorites. I'm
more of a foreign exotic beer guy, like Carlsberg Elephant Malt or Grolsch. Grolsch is one of my favorite beers ever. But I've been focusing on bourbon a lot lately, and Buffalo Trace is like my go-to bourbon. If you want the best bourbon for bang for the buck, I don't want to say this, but a certain liquor store that has a lot of locations in town, and it rhymes with swine. You can go there and buy something called Walcott for like $20, and it's the best bourbon for the buck. And actually, Paul Charchin, a fellow bourbon connoisseur like I am, turned me on to that bourbon. So, other than that, Four Roses, awesome. Buffalo Trace, great. Calumet, it's kind of a high-end bourbon, about $50 a bottle, which I find very, very tasty. And my favorite is Blanton's. Hard to find. I have business cards out all over town at liquor stores, and whenever they get a shipment in.
What do you mean it's hard to find? How is something that's so good and expensive hard to find?
Well, because when they make a shipment to the Twin Cities, they show up at the liquor store, here's 2 bottles for the next month.
So they're making it like a supply and demand exclusivity. They're doing the spotted cow deal where the allure is it's hard to find, so it's always sold. That's interesting.
Absolutely. Charles and I have talked about doing a bourbon show. Hopefully, KFAN will be interested in that. I don't know, but we like bourbon.
Do a podcast. We'll let you do a podcast. We'll give you an iHeartRadio channel for sure. I don't think we're gonna it's not gonna be like Bourbon Wednesday on the Fan. I don't think we're gonna be rolling like that. But if you want to do a podcast, I'm sure they'd let you have one.
Well, let's talk about that. Got to make it happen because there's been a proliferation of bourbon drinking across the country, and so bourbon is in demand. I think people like drinking it, so I do too. So,
all right. Well, let me piggyback on the second part of the question in terms of the trade deadline, because we've gotten a lot of questions already about Josh Donaldson, who's up to bat right now, and we can, if you want to talk about the whole Garrett Cole, Josh Donaldson, we can. I think it's been kind of played out over the last couple of days, but a lot of people that say, you know what, Donaldson has a big contract. He's got some years left on his deal. Twins aren't going anywhere. The team that he joined is not the team that they are. Like it made a lot of sense to bring him in a couple of years ago. Obviously, it was a huge move. It was a great move. It hasn't necessarily worked out for him or for the Twins. So should they be thinking about moving on from him? And is that a team, like some people think they should just trade him back to Atlanta because they're in the mix for their division title. To piggyback on the second part of the question before Bourbon derailed us from our first questioner, what should they do with Donaldson, or what should they do at the deadline?
All right. The one thing I have to tell the people who are watching or listening or whatever they're doing is that we're not the only ones seeing this. Scouts for other teams are watching this team play and flounder. So they're looking at Josh Donaldson going, he's batting 340. He's batting 240. He's making $23 million a year. We don't want that on our team. His trade value is not going to be that great, folks. You're not going to get a lot in return for Donaldson unless you're saying you want to get rid of him and just like pay. And you want to trade him like you want to go to the Parisi route and just trade him and pay off his salary. Is that where you're headed with? I would say that Nelson Cruz has some value because he's a stick who can help out a team in his veteran leadership. He's basically
Cruz makes sense.
He's basically the Don Baylor of this era right now, who can go in and walk into a clubhouse and command respect and also be a motivational force. So there would be interest. As far as the pitchers, what Twins pitcher do you think another team would want? Rios?
Well, let's talk about Barrios because they have to make some kind of decision on him. I know he's got one more year under team control, right? Contract-wise, arbitration-wise, and then he's an unrestricted free agent after next season. So they've got to make some kind of decision on him, right? I cringe to think what this rotation looks like without him. And I don't know what his price would be on an open market if they wanted, or if they even wanted to think about signing a long-term deal. I know there was some talk of that in spring training, but couldn't he get you something for a team that wants a second-ish starter, certainly a third starter in a good rotation?
Yes, they definitely could. But my question is this: are we trying to blow it up, or just trying to tweak for next year?
Yeah.
If you want to blow it up, trade Barrios. But to me, Barrios should be part of the solution, not the problem. I look for a way to sign him long term and have him be a factor in rotation going forward. If you trade Barrios, then it's going to be your. A other thing about this too, you also have Polanco under a multi-year deal, Kepler under a multi-year deal. I don't know how much trade value those two guys have. Sano has one more year on his contract as well. You got some guys who are going to be here next year, and then after that for the next couple of years. So how do you want to shape this team? You just want to blow everything up and try to retool and have a couple of years of 100+ losses so you can tank and get high draft picks? That process takes 5 to 6 to 7 years to be fulfilled. You have to remember the Houston Astros went through a period where some of their ratings for some of their games were 0.0 ratings for their games when they were at the worst. And it took them to go rock bottom before they were able to rebound. Is that what you're willing to endure, Twins fans? I tend to think that it may take a savvy free agent signing to get them out of this rut, but I would keep Barrios. I try to sign both Barrios and Buxton for the future and try to figure out a way to get a high-quality pitcher, which means maybe increasing your payroll to go after a quality starter during the free agent period. And, they have gone after guys in the past. They made an offer to Yu Darvish before he signed with the Cubs. They made an offer to Wheeler before he signed with the Phillies. But you have to win these battles. You have to win these financial.
You got to finish them.
Exactly. So it's great to say that you're in the hunt. And, it's better than nothing. But you have to win one of these things to get a quality pitcher in here. Because the best way to build depth on your roster is to bring in somebody good and push everybody down. That's how you build depth. Not from bringing guys like up from the bottom, hoping to prop everybody else. It's coming from the other direction.
Right.
From the top down. So, like I said, I would try to keep Buxton and Barrios. And then try to make
Buxton for sure. Yeah, you have to, obviously. We'll talk about him in a second. So what would a potential Barrios deal look like? As we're watching Nelson Cruz right now, he's got a 3-1 count. There's a runner on first. Twins are down 3-1 in the bottom of the third. So we'll keep you posted if anything exciting happens there. What would
your feet is ahead of mine?
Like?
I
endorse Xfinity. Xfinity gives me the best. Xfinity's right here. I mean, I've got so much going on at Xfinity right now. I got a phone going Xfinity. I got a tablet going Xfinity. I got my smart TV here going Xfinity. Whole house is wired. And my kids were watching like Mario Kart, some Mario Kart streaming thing upstairs. That that's a nightmare. But at least they're not playing it; they're just watching it. But we're good here with Xfinity. The Xfinity house is wired here at the Gaard.
I just want to make a point out here. I'm also an Xfinity user here too.
There you go.
Here's my Xfinity board there. So I'm a big believer in Xfinity. What I didn't realize is that I was behind. I had to do the rapid.
Oh, you paused it. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess I paused it. I don't remember when I did that. So
that's Wobble Bingo. Another technical error for Wobble Bingo here.
It's user error. I don't know if it's user error. Yeah. So
deals for Barrios.
Average. What's the cost of average pitching in Major League Baseball right now? I mean, like 5 years ago.
I have no idea.
Average pitcher was like making $12-13 million a year, and Barrios, I believe, has a winning record as a Major League pitcher. I would imagine his handlers are going to be asking for $15 to $17 million a year. I mean, we'll pay that for Jose Barrios. He hasn't hit yet. He hasn't hit his prime yet. 2, he's been durable. He has not broken down. He's answered the bell when they needed him. He's got talent. We know that. So can you get him for 5 years and $75 million at $15 million a year? Is that enough? Or is agent's going to be like, oh, he's a $20 million a year pitcher if he gets on the free agent market? You know? So I'm saying it's going to cost money. And the cost of having – I would lock up pitching before I lock up position players. So
yeah. What the price range you just gave me, I said wow at the beginning of it. That's actually – doesn't really scare me. For that type of deal, I'd be fine with that. I'm a Barrios fan. I know he hasn't been what they probably hoped that he would turn into, but like you say, you sign him and then go find somebody else that's as capable as him or even a little bit better, and then you're not asking him to be the ace. That's what a lot of these teams, our teams, Minnesota teams in general, have always gotten in trouble with, like anointing players or asking players to do things that they're not capable of doing, right? Or expecting them to be something that they're not, and maybe we find out Barrios isn't an ace. I think that's probably fair at this point. But could he be a solid number 2 guy in a rotation? I think he could be. And certainly, if you get a couple of guys better than him, he'd be a great number 3 in my opinion.
What if he goes somewhere else and flourishes? That will kill Twins fans. In fact,
we're used to that.
At the beginning of the week, guess which starting pitcher led the American League in ERA?
Lance Lynn.
Kyle Gibson.
Yeah, I knew it was Lynn or Gibson.
He had a 2.08 ERA at the beginning of the week.
Yeah.
I don't know what he did in his most recent outing, but Gibby's like 4-2 with a 2.08 ERA. So I'm sure Twins fans are going, see, they should have kept Kyle Gibson. But the Twins pretty much exhausted every angle with that guy. They gave him chance after chance after chance. So
yeah.
Sometimes a guy needs to hear the same thing said by someone different to get them to be better than what they are. And that happens in baseball. So
let's give away our first prize. It's the volleyball and badminton portable net and set. All of these prizes are thanks to Xfinity. If you want to enter, we've still got another cool prize to give away at the end of the night. You're looking at it right there. It's that projector. We've got a screen coming up at this volleyball and badminton net that you see right here. I think this is pronounced Ragnar. Reygnarr. That is our winner. That's his Twitter handle. No idea what his real name is. We'll hopefully get that at some point. See, that's got to be Ragnar, right? I mean, that's got to be a Vikings fan. Says
Ragnar?
Thanks to Xfinity. Yeah, watching the best. But it's you and me. We're the best, obviously. But thanks for watching, man. And you win the volleyball and badminton portable net and set. We'll contact you on details there. Another giveaway coming up towards the end of the show.
A rather unhappy dog there for the picture there. He doesn't look very happy, does he?
No, not really. Now that you mention it, he's not. He's got a volleyball and badminton portable set. Now it's all good. Now it's all fine. We're going.
That's why he's mad. He's like, now there's gonna be more people in my backyard.
More people to play with. More friends. More friends. More friends. Use the hashtag KFAN Xfinity. Hashtag KFAN Xfinity if you want to enter for the rest of the prize. Also, if you want to ask LaVelle questions as we roll on, we're here for another 25 minutes or so. Ragnar asked another question, actually. You mentioned, Wobbs, bringing in players to push other players down. I've seen a lot of players called up, not produced for a variety of reasons. You mentioned kind of the farm system, like St. Paul now with arms. What is the status there? I mean, you wrote about it a little bit. I mean, the Falvey mystique was all about pitching, right? He was known. He was all about developing pitchers, finding pitchers, bringing pitchers in. And fairness in conversation, like for 2 seasons, a lot of that has worked out. I mean, bringing in Maeda was a good move. He was helpful. Obviously, this year is not worked out the same. Bullpen up till this year was solid. I mean, last year it was good. 2 years ago it was fine. So there's obviously been a hiccup. There's obviously been a couple of steps back, but you do look, where is the help coming from AAA?
It's tough. The best, the way to build a pitcher staff, it's not just from the farm system. Yes, scouting and development means a lot. It's cheaper that way. But you also need savvy trades. You also need decent free agent signings. Falvey came from Cleveland, and they have, give Cleveland credit. They have developed good pitching, but they also got Carlos Carrasco in the trade.
There's a dong, by the way. Are you up to speed? Have just gave up another home run, a solo shot.
I see that. Is that Urshela?
My fella. Yeah.
Yeah, my favorite fella, as Foucault would say.
70 pitches through 3 and no thirds innings.
Corey Kluber was an add-in on the trade. That's how Cleveland's staff kind of developed into being a force. Trevor Bauer, I believe, started with the Diamondbacks and came to Cleveland in the trade. So, I mean, that's kind of how you have to use all means necessary to build effective pitcher staff. Just developing pitchers from the farm system is not going to be the true answer. But I will say this, for a team like the Twins, they're not going to spend a lot of money on free agency. I'm always screaming at it. If you're not going to spend money on free agency, then you need to put whatever $10 million that you're not going to spend on a free agent in scouting and development, because you guys are going to have to be better, slightly better than average than everybody else in order to make this work. If you're going to sit there and behind your principles and senior laurels and say, we're not going to be responsible for giving a pitcher $300 million. Well, then you have to attack the other way too and be the best at scouting and development. And I haven't seen that. Now they've got some pitchers in the minors that are encouraged, that have encouraging numbers, like Yoan Duran and Jordan Balazovic. Matt Cantanero, he's at A-ball, but he's been put on the IL with a elbow impingement. But they got Josh Winder and a couple other guys in A-ball. They got 2 or 3 guys in A-ball who have like high strikeout rates. They look like they could be a guy by the time they get to the majors. But it takes a while. I believe this is Falvey's 4th or 5th year. So, he's had to lay the groundwork and start from scratch here in a lot of ways. So it takes time. And the thing is, fans are impatient. Media is impatient. We want to see the results now. We want to see his team take the next step now. You had a kick-ass offense 2 years ago to borrow a phrase from Brad Childress. It's a social offense now that needs help from the pitching staff. And the Twins failed in providing those type of quality arms to the staff this year, and the front office needs to be held accountable.
Is the defense as bad as it appears? Because the Dongs used to hide all that, right? I mean, it seems like that's the one thing that really bugs me. It's like guys make huge mistakes. There's one thing that we never took, that was never taken for granted in like the Gaardy era and certainly the TK era. It's like they made plays they were supposed to make, and they didn't give teams extra outs all the time. There weren't a lot of circus plays. Maybe I'm just romanticizing that era, LaVelle, but it just seems sloppy at times. It just seems like it's not as tightly organized as it needs to be. And I don't know if that's just me projecting on the Baldelli Llama's approach, that you get to the ballpark 15 minutes before the game and take a nap and it's all very hands off and get yourself ready to play. But it just seems like something hasn't been right there in this era. Or am I wrong?
No, there's something troubling about what's going on defensively, and it's come at the wrong times. It started first series of the year in the Milwaukee. Colomé threw the wrong base, and Kepler dropped the ball he should have caught, and it's just carried on from there. The games in Oakland, where the Oakland A's scored like 5 runs in the inning without the ball leaving the infield because of walks and miscues. It's been crazy. A couple of days ago, Polanco had the guy he could throw a guy out at home and threw.
Looks like another dong 2-run shot. Sano says he wants to go to replay. Chris Gittins.
Who the hell? Who's Chris Gittins?
Never heard of him.
Who the hell is that?
There's the Llama. Llama looks like he wants to challenge. Chris Gittins.
Line?
It was down the right field line. It looked like I couldn't see the ball where it landed, but it was just one of those right down the line, short porch, LaVelle, concrete settled. All right, here it is. Oh, that looks foul. Yeah, that looks like it's going right over the Mauer pots. That's a foul ball. That's a foul ball.
How
It's
could
only
you
going to
call
be
that
4-1.
fair?
But right there, it looks like it crossed behind. That shot right there, it looks like it actually crossed behind the foul pole. So now they're going to replay it. This will take forever. Tim Cheetah's calling time right now. He's calling time for everybody. That's not Tim Cheetah.
No, you know who it is? It's Twins nemesis Hunter Windelstad, who has had with the Twins for years. That's Hunter Windelstad. They don't like him.
Well, why?
Because he has made a lot of calls against him, and he has pissed them off over the last 20 years. So, don't forget, post the hashtag KFAN Xfinity for your chance to win great prizes from our friends at Xfinity Mobile during the broadcast tonight.
Look at you. Yeah, reading the vibes. Good job, Ron Burgundy. And the prize we're giving away about 15 minutes from now is an outdoor projector screen with a stand and mini indoor-outdoor projector. So you can watch baseball, you can watch the playoffs, you can watch movies, bring the neighborhood over. Backyard movies have become a huge thing here in the pandemic. I hope it's one of the things that stay. But we're giving that prize away towards the end of the show tonight. Can we go back in time real quick?
No, it looks like they overturned a homer.
Yeah. I think it was foul. That first view that we saw, I think it was a foul ball. So Happ lives to throw a 78th pitch. They're down 4-1 right now in the top of the fourth inning against the Yanks. This is KFAN Baseball and Brews. Can we go back? There's a lot of people that are projecting, right? And they're saying, well, if the Twins do what they did in 2006, it's possible. They could get into the postseason. I see you smirking as I say it. We talked about this on the radio the other day. I think it was Monday. The ace on that staff was Johan Santana, 2006. He won the Cy Young. Justin Morneau was on that team. He won the MVP. And Joe Mauer was the batting champ. Like, you forget. I mean, you could just stop at Johan. And that's where I told Dan I wanted to stop when he was comparing the teams. I'm like, can we just stop at Johan? I mean, Cy Young, ace, everything. Liriano was on that team. Good Liriano.
Yeah, before he got injured. Remember, he got injured that year, right?
Yes. Oh, yeah. Well, that was
the Twins were Clemens. Yes, the Twins were headed into the postseason with Santana and Liriano at the top of their rotation. And Liriano burned his elbow out. It was bad.
Times.
Joe Nathan was the closer.
Yeah.
The team had a vibe. They had a personality.
Loaded. Yeah. Torrey Hunter was on that team. That was a really good team. Like, you could look at that team and say, okay, why were they bad to begin with, right? And then they obviously went on a run. That was the year they lost to Oakland. Didn't Frank Thomas hit a bomb?
Yeah. So let's talk about it. That when Mark Kotsay hit the ball to center field that Torrey Hunter tried to dive for.
Yeah, I remember.
All right, so let's talk about this. They had Justin Morneau, MVP guy. The Twins don't have an MVP candidate on this team.
Nope.
They had Joe Mauer, batting title worthy. They really don't have a batting title worthy guy unless Arias just go bananas when he gets healthy.
Mm-hmm.
They have Nathan as a closer. The Twins don't have a closer. They just don't have a closer. And I'm missing one other element here. The Twins the Twins had who?
Well, the ace. I mean, the aces.
They don't have an ace. They had two aces actually. They had ace and one ace 1A in Santana and Liriano. They don't have that on this team. So a lot of things at the break right now. The Twins have to play like 645 ball just to get the 90 wins, and I don't think 90 wins will win the AL Central this year.
No.
So this hole is deep, y'all. They're gonna have to turn around immediately. They're gonna have to find all the lucky horseshoes they can get, and
it's not going to happen. I mean, it's not going to happen. We don't need to spend. I mean, I get why people are doing it. I mean, I was at this point like 3 weeks ago, where it's just like you can just feel it, you can just see it. There's not, because you look at who's available. I mean, you look at who they would be counting on. Now, one of those guys would be Byron Buxton, who is, I guess, fixed his deceleration problem and is looking forward to hopefully returning to the big club here at some point. So. We mentioned him a little bit earlier about contract wise, what to do, different things like that when we were talking about Barrios. But what should they do with him? Because obviously the injury thing. I mean, you went through with Dan a couple of weeks ago or a couple of months ago. All the games he hasn't played. When he first got hurt, we talked about all the games that he's missed over the years. Like, man, he's electric, and he was playing so well. And the game I was at, it was right before he got hurt. It was like seeing him in person is an experience for sure. Like I would say, everybody should go see that if they can. But it's like, what do you do with the guy? You know, what? How do you figure this out?
I would keep Rios, man. I figured out a way to sign him, and even if it took $15 million a year, I keep him going for it. 'Cause it's so hard to trade for and develop quality pitching. I mean, Barrios is like the best starter they developed since Matt Garza, and before Matt Garza, it was Brad Radke. So we're going back like 25 years, in terms of developing quality starting pitching. So
all right, hang on. Lavo Bingo, not understanding my question, not hearing my question. Maybe my audio cut out. What about Buxton? What do we do with him? We talked about Buxton briefly. Yeah, because you said, what do we do? You said they need to sign Barrios, they need to sign Buxton. And then I said, okay, we'll talk about Buxton in a little bit. Now I'm circling back. I'm following up on Buxton.
How much is Buxton worth? That's a huge question because lack of durability has to be brought into the equation here. The power potential is there now. The RBI potential is there now. I would really be hard pressed to give him more than $15 million a year with him, and he may want more than that. But
yeah,
he has to be available in order to be productive. I mean, he hasn't done that the last 3 or 4 or 5 years. So I'd be a little skeptical of making a long-term commitment with Buxton. And to be honest with you, I'd probably offer him a 3-year deal right now just to see what that 3-year deal looks like because he's about to turn 28. So in 3 years, he'll be 31. I do tend to think that good athletes age better than non-athletes. So even at 31, I think he would have another 3 or 4 or maybe 5 good years under his belt. So I would take that. I would take that risk with him, but I don't know if I'd go into a 5 or 6 year deal with Mr. Buxton. And I like.
Do you think he's at the point of his career though, where he's? I mean, would he sign a 3-year deal though?
Who was the guy who just tweeted about how Booth Bonser was like the second best pitcher on that team? Carlos Silva won 11 games. Radke was 12-9.
That was Big Sam.
He got injured.
Big Sam tweeting about it.
Booth was 7-6.
I don't think you never fully appreciated Booth.
No, the thing about I know what he's saying. What Sam is saying is that because of injuries and other situations, that Booth actually had to start a playoff game for the Twins. That's where he's headed at with that.
That's right.
Johan had to be in the playoffs that year, and Silva and Radke.
Yep.
So Scott Baker was 5-8 that year. Nathan,
big spot, Scott.
Yeah. So now he's going to make me have to go back and look at the playoff series there and how that played out. But I do remember Booth Bonser having to call. I thought it was 0-2 that Bonser had to start a meaningful game. Maybe I'm wrong. But Booth was part of that fleecing of the Giants.
It was a great trade.
For Liriano, Booth, and Joe Nathan, who all ended up being decent major league. Well, at the worst, Booth was a slightly barely average pitcher, but the value they got out of Liriano and Nathan blew that trade well in the proportion of we're on the side of the Twins.
So game 1, Johan started. Game 2, Booth Bonser. Well, Nick Swisher doubled the lead off the 5th off Booth Bonser. Did Booth Bonser start that game?
I believe he did. So who started game 3?
Game 3, the elimination game, Radke. Radke started the elimination game at the Coliseum in Oakland.
So
he lost 8-3.
No, what Sam was trying to point, he was trying to make a deal about how terrible the Twins pitching staff was that year, but it was set up for Radke to save the day if they got to game 3 in arrears. So that's why Booth started game 2.
Booth's not selling cars in New Hampshire, I read, is what Big Sam was saying. That's a good way to make a living. I don't
know. That may be some Sam.
Booth Bonser Buick, I have to imagine. Booth Bonser
maybe
Buick.
some Sam spam right now being thrown out there on Twitter.
Yeah, that's fine. KFAN Xfinity is the hashtag we want you to use. If you have more witty comments like that, you can also register to win our prizes. We've got one more prize to give away here. We'll do that in the next 5 minutes or so. This is Baseball and Brews. We're brought to you by Xfinity Mobile. Thanks for them letting us hang out. Looks like we're going to try to get on. Rorkbet is trying to bunt his way on, play a little small ball. He advances Miguel Sano. They get the out. Twins are down 4-1. They got out of that last inning unscathed. They have to throw like a million pitches to get through 4 innings. Twins are down 4-1. We got the Yankees here. What stands out about all the Twins Yankee games you watched? Is there one? Was it 04? Was it 03? Like, I always go back to the last game they won and then had an opportunity to win game 2 in Yankee Stadium. Can't remember what year that was. Had to have been 03 or 04. And they weren't able to get that done. And then obviously the series changed. But like, when you just think Twins Yankees, is there a moment, or is it just the totality of the dominance for New York?
Forgive me because I don't have the right year figured out here, but the Yankees have defeated the Twins in 13 consecutive playoff games. Okay, I want to 04, in which the Twins won game 1, maybe, and then they went into a hellacious extra inning battle at New York in game 2.
Yep.
Torrey Hunter hit a home run, I want to say, in the 11th inning. Joe Nathan was already on the mound, and so they asked Joe Nathan to throw a 3rd inning in relief.
Yep.
And so he was out of gas. He was afraid to challenge Enrique Wilson, and I think he walked Wilson to start the inning. And the Yankees ended up tying the game and winning in the bottom of the 11th
bottom of the 12th.
Bottom of the 12th. A fly ball was hit to Jock Jones in right field. And
Derek Jeter scored.
Yeah, Jeter scored, and Jock Jones did not challenge Jeter at home plate. He threw the ball into Matt LaCroix at first base. That was the game that was, to me, that was one of the most crushing postseason games I've covered with. When Torrey put them up in the 12th inning, it had to be that. And then they gave up they lost the game in the bottom of the inning because Nathan was out of gas and Jock didn't want to throw home. That was a tough one.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right here. Torrey hits the home run in the top of the 12th off Tanyan Sturtsky.
Sturts.
And then, Sturts. All right, I'll take your word for it. Yeah, Olerud strikes out. Miguel Cairo walks. Derek Jeter walks.
It was Cairo. Thank you, Cairo. Yeah.
Yeah. A-Rod gets a ground rule double, and then Hideki Matsui off of Romero hits the fly ball because they intentionally walk Gary Sheffield. Now, look at that squad. Olerud, Cairo, Jeter, A-Rod, Sheffield, Matsui. That's a grind. That is an absolute grind. No wonder they always.
So JC Romero came in to face Matsui, so it's lefty on lefty, and Matsui was able to pull a Romero pitch to right field, where Jock caught the ball and didn't have the I don't know, he had a brain lock there and just didn't throw home. Just threw it in the first and walked off the field.
And that would have been the old Yankee Stadium. When old Yankee Stadium was getting torn down, the final season. I'd never been there, and I said, I got to get out there and see Yankee Stadium, the original, right? And so I took my dad, because we were out there for the U.S. Open, and one of the nights I was able to get tickets. And this was one of the years when they weren't very good. They already knew they weren't going to make the playoffs. So this is like late August. Might have even been September. And I've never heard a place, even though the Yankees had nothing to play for, the place was so packed. They were playing Toronto, if I remember right. Twins got a little.
Sano just scored.
Yep.
Sano just scored. Simmons
with a double. Bases clearing double. Oh, no. Sano was the only guy on. So I guess they were cleared. So we got 4-2 now.
That old Yankee Stadium, the press box used to shake when like 60,000 people screaming at the same time.
Well, which part of the game do you think I'm referencing specifically where the place went nuts? If you had to guess.
Yankee Stadium?
It wasn't a play that happened. It was something else where, well, I'll just tell you. It was when when Enter Sandman hit and Mariano Rivera came in. Yeah. That was amazing. Like, because I didn't know that was the bit. I didn't know that was the bit that they do. And so I'm just there with my dad, and here's the top of the ninth. It's a meaningless game against the Blue Jays, and Metallica starts. I'm like, what is going on? And then number 42 comes trotting in. I'm like, okay. Like, I can't even imagine what that was like in like a real game with real stakes and real impact. Like, that was I mean, I get chills thinking about it now. It was what an amazing deal that was. You obviously saw that a bunch.
That's probably one of the best walkout songs for a closer I've ever heard. A close second, I'd say a close second was Trevor Hoffman when he was in San Diego. He walked out to those bells, and that was pretty awesome too. Because he either went to the World Series, lost to the Yankees. So it was Hell's Bells versus Sandman in that series. So
yeah,
it was pretty cool.
I like this comment right here.
There's a video saying LaVelle bumped one of the buttons on his phone. His cheek just for posterity.
Whatever. We need Larry to come in and poke your stomach, or sort of say hi to somebody, because that's what my favorite wobble bingos is when you're in a press box and somebody comes by and starts messing with you, or just saying hi.
It starts a conversation. I know.
Like, what's up, man? What's up, man? Hey, good to see you. What was I talking about again?
Well, you see, PA had Bernie Williams in the studio today.
Well, that's what got me thinking about Rivera, because they were talking about him a little bit, obviously, because he was part of those teams, and that's what reminded me of the Enter Sandman bit, which was just incredible. The PA conversation, we had it on Fan on Demand on the air, so I listened to most of it on my way home. It was amazing. I'm totally jealous that we didn't have it with Barrero. Hopefully we can do that sometime, but good work by Nordo to get that done, because I encourage everybody to go to the Paul Allen podcast channel. It was really good stuff.
I wish I would have been there, because I had a couple questions for Bernie, because I don't know if Bernie remembers meeting me or talking to me, because the Yankees were in town playing the Twins. No, I'm sorry, before the Twins. When I was working in Kansas City. The Yankees were in Kansas City playing the Royals, and Sting was performing. I want to say, I can't remember the name of the amphitheater in suburban Kansas City. And so, nice product placement.
Product placement. I've been doing it all night.
So I had tickets to go see Sting after the Sunday game. So I actually had a girlfriend at the time, big surprise, and I had seats in the 12th row. So I'm at there at Sting, and I had to go use the bathroom. I walked to the bathroom and run into Bernie Williams. It was like, so we're having a conversation in the bathroom. I was like, dude, what are you doing here? He says, I love Sting. I would never miss it for the world, So that was like my first conversation with Bernie Williams. And then he also referenced the time that he met Bruce Springsteen.
Yes.
Now,
amazing story.
I wish I would have been there. I would ask him, was that the only time you met Springsteen? Because the Twins were in New York playing the Yankees, and it was a Sunday after a Saturday night game. And for some reason, I went into the Yankees clubhouse for something. And so I entered the clubhouse, and there's Spike Lee and Reggie Jackson, like holding court about some film thing they're collaborating on. So all the media is like surrounding them. I'm like, why is Spike Lee and Reggie Jackson here? This is incredible. I can see Reggie Jackson, but why Spike Lee, So I don't even know if I was able to talk to the person I wanted to talk. So now I leave the clubhouse, and I'm walking back toward the Twins clubhouse. And as I approach the entrance to the Twins clubhouse, there's Paul Molitor in his last year. So this was 1998. This is Molitor's last year as a player. And he had his young son with him who had to be like 4 or 5 at the time. And there's Bruce Springsteen. So Molitor, apparently, I didn't know Molitor had a relationship with Springsteen.
Yeah, so they were tight. He's talked about that. Didn't he use a Springsteen line too when they traded everybody at the deadline on the board?
Never surrender, never surrender, never. That's right.
Yep.
What I did know is that he knew Molitor, he knew Springsteen, so he wanted Springsteen to meet his son, who was traveling with him at the time. So there's Springsteen in front of the Twins clubhouse. There's Spike Lee and Reggie Jackson in the Yankees clubhouse. Like, is this like a regular day in New York? This is crazy.
Yeah.
The star power. But when Bernie's talking about the time he met Springsteen, that may have been that same day that he met Springsteen. It was the same day I saw him talking to Molitor and his son.
Well, I think to answer your question, I think that was a regular thing. I mean, I'm sure it's the same way in LA, with the Dodgers and with the Angels. Like, it certainly was with like the Lakers, I mean, Dan's talked about going to the Forum all the time, like just the people that are just hanging out in the Laker club. And I mean, it makes sense. Like, if you're in New York and there's all those entertainers, there's all those musicians, there's all those actors, there's all those comedians, like they're looking for stuff to do too. And they're looking at, and like Bernie said to PA, they were excited to meet me because I'm a Yankee. I'm excited to meet them because they're rock stars. Like,
right.
I mean, that happens all the time. I mean, that's why like Marty Fish, our guy Marty, who I just had on the show, he's friends with everybody because like they all think it's cool to have another pro player or another like anytime a Twins go out there or the Wild go out there or the Wolves go out there, like he's hanging out with all those guys.
Hey,
Marty
helped us with a story big time. When the Twins signed Donaldson, I found out. I don't know why, but for some reason, Marty Fish was following me. Well, he was following me on Twitter. I didn't realize it, and he was out golfing with Donaldson like a couple weeks before the Twins signed Donaldson, when all the speculation was raging. And so I check on Twitter. Does he follow me? Oh, hell yeah, he does follow me. So I sent him a direct message saying, hey, I went to Star Tribune. We're trying to keep up with this Donaldson thing. Would you like to be interviewed? Because it sounds like you're trying to convince Donaldson to sign with the Twins. I said, sure, no problem. I said, here's the other bit.
Yep.
This was 2020. Yeah, the winter of 2020. The other thing, I'm sorry, I'm going to Mexico tomorrow. You're going to talk to Phil Miller. Is that okay? I have to give him your number. Sure, no problem. Here's my number. So it was awesome. So Phil Miller talked to Marty Fish and wrote a story about how Marty Fish is trying to recruit Josh Donaldson to sign with the Twins.
That's what he does, man. He's helping Kirk Cousins with tennis. He's helped Josh Donaldson come here. Like he's just trying to connect. He's just trying to bring people together. We'll hang through this inning right now. The Twins have cut the lead. Speaking of Josh Donaldson, he is up to bat right now. 2 are on, first and second, 1 and 2 count. Is that 2 outs? I can't even tell. Or is that 0 outs? I don't know the Bally Sports North deal. I always get confused.
It looks like the Yankees have changed pitchers, right? Is that a new pitcher for the Yankees?
Yeah. Luetge, Luetge. He's in now. He changed a couple batters ago. I was paying attention on that. I was caught up in the Bernie Williams stuff, but I was paying attention. He's been in there for a couple of batters. And I don't think he's gotten any of them out because we're sitting here with runners at first and second. Donaldson, this could be the signature Josh Donaldson moment you've been pining for. You've been thinking.
Well, I got in trouble on Twitter last week about that, saying when is there.
You jumped him a little bit. I mean, you jumped him a little bit. I thought you were a little unfair. It's his fault that we can't protect leads and that our pitchers are terrible. Oh, that was a fat pitch. That was a fat. Yeah, that was bad. Man, that was bad.
See, that's the thing.
You want to talk about on that either.
You want to talk about Yankee Twins games? I've covered games in which Jason Giambi had joined the Yankees, hit a grand slam off of like Mike Trombley. I think I covered a game in which Hideki Matsui hit a grand slam off Eddie Guardado, and those were like seeing welcome to New York moments for both those guys.
Yeah,
we're waiting for the Josh Donaldson welcome to Twin Cities moment. He has not had that moment yet.
No, but to be fair to him, other than Buxton, nobody's had any moments on this season, unfortunately.
No.
But you're right. Let's give away our final prize, shall we? And then we'll wrap up our baseball and brews. Thanks to Xfinity Mobile. Our final prize tonight, the outdoor projector screen with a stand and a mini indoor-outdoor projector. You can watch everything you want to watch this summer, wherever you want to watch it, inside or outside. This projection screen is amazing. It's 100 inches, and Josh Hobbs is our winner.
Oh,
thank you, Josh.
Is that Lawrence Neal? He didn't enter?
Doesn't look like it. There he is. Chances the Twins try and move Donaldson instead of younger guys. Yeah, we did talk about that a little bit. LaVelle says there's not going to be a market for him. You might be able to get an outdoor projection screen for it.
That may be it. That may be it for JD. And you got 2 more years after this one for Donaldson. Yeah. So
I don't regret the signing, though. I'm not going to be a fraud. It was the right move to make. It was a good move to make, and it just hasn't worked out. Like sometimes that happens, you know.
Remember he was supposed to next time. He was supposed to provide that grit and that heart, that red ass attitude that Twins had been perceived to be lacking through the years. And where's it got?
Yeah. Nowhere, but I still like it. I like the fact that they went out of their comfort zone, LaVelle. That's all we've asked them to do all these years. You know, I know it hasn't worked out. It's not working out, but I mean, it's the same. People right now are, they're trying to figure out what to do with Parisi, right? It's like, well, we knew when they signed 13-year contracts, there was going to be some bumps, right? There's going to be some issues. Right. You still do that. There was no reason not to do it. I mean, you still do that 100 times out of 100, in my opinion. I know, again, hasn't led anywhere. It didn't go where they wanted it to go. The plan didn't work the way it was supposed to work. But I still do it. I still do it 100 times out of 100. And you knew at the end of it, you were going to have to deal with some stuff.
Yeah, the pain in the back end, though, is a little more sharp when you're a mid to small market team and you do something like that. You know,
That's
a
true.
larger team can absorb those type of things. You know, Stanton's eating up a lot of the Yankees' payroll right now, but they can absorb it, you know. Detroit's a decent-sized market. Miguel Cabrera's eating up a lot of that payroll, but they got a lot of cheap players around him, too, so maybe he's eating up more than they can handle. But, yeah, if you're a mid to small market team and you try to get out deep in that free agent water, man, and try to sign someone for size, you gotta be right. You gotta be right, or you gotta win. You gotta win a couple World Series. So you can remember the good old days when Josh Johnson got the hit in the 7th game of the World Series to give you a title, but you don't have that.
Yeah, I still do it. I would do it again next time and get a better local TV deal, find a couple of marketing partnerships and do it. We got one comment, Wobbs, on the way out that says we should do this every single week. I would do it. Just letting everybody know. There it is. There's our guy. You should make this a weekly
I'm all
thing.
for it.
I'm all for it too. Xfinity Mobile, I'm in. Let's go.
Yep.
I've got Xfinity Mobile.
I do too. We both have.
Oh yeah.
No one even asked me that if I had Xfinity Mobile. I have Xfinity Mobile. I have the X1.
You should. You bundle it with your internet. You save money. It's a beautiful thing. You see
I'm locked and loaded.
Yeah.
I can go to Bally Sports Store for watch Twins games. Unlike people at DirecTV or some of these other people.
I was going to take that cheap shot early. I abstained from that because I'm like, why is everybody complaining about the Twins, the Wild, the Wolves? I've been watching all the games. Sadly, I watched every Wolves game. I've been watching every Twins game, and I got to watch all the Wild games. I got no issues. Stop cutting the cord. Come on.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, I'm in every week. We can talk Twins. We can talk Bourbon. We can talk Bears. We didn't talk Aaron Rodgers today.
JG, you forgot the dirty little secret too.
What's that?
And I we could write our Xfinity off on taxes.
You're not supposed to say that. That's not helpful. You're not supposed to tell anybody that. Hey, good to see you virtually. You still got to come in studio for Barrero. When's that going to happen?
I don't know.
You're always invited.
Well, my brother's birthday's this weekend, and we're going out to dinner Friday night.
Happy birthday, Larry. Well, that'll be good. Yes. LaVelle Bingo tomorrow when we call you at 5:30 from wherever you are or wherever you're doing. Because you're on with Barrero.
Oh, wow, that's right. Dinner's at 7:30. There's going to be pregame. There's going to be pre-gaming and imbibing before dinner.
Right.
It'll be a very interesting segment.
I
encourage everyone to tune in to that one.
All right, 5:30 tomorrow. We will be talking to LaVelle, and who knows what will be going on. But we'll have our bingo cards, and then maybe next week. My favorite, LaVelle, is when you don't respond to me about about the ONSIP, or if we should call you, and then you just burst in through the doors. You haven't done that, like the Kool-Aid man. Like the Kool-Aid man, you just come crashing through the wall, and there you are.
Yeah!
You do that like once a summer, once a year. It's just the best. Unexpected LaVelle in studio is my favorite. So do that at some point.
Are you guys going back to summer stickball at all? You should start going on. What happened to Maynard's? Can you go back to Maynard's now that everything's open up?
We've been trying. Trust me, I've been trying. I've been working.
Or can we do Burrell's Garage?
No.
Or
we can't do Burrell's Garage. We could do something like that. Yeah.
Gianna's Toy Box.
As we wrap up, the Gold Gloves shortstop that was going to shore up everything had another error. Trying to turn a double play. So now it's first and second for the Yankees. 1 out. They're down 4-2 in the top.
You gotta try different things, man. Go different places. Because 20 years from now, when it's going to be the Jackson and Gia show on KFAN from turn bumper to bumper, your son and her daughter host the show. They're going to be talking about the old days. Remember when we used to go to watch our dads at Maynard's?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Yeah, we got on Glenn Mason's boat. LaVelle smoked cigars and blew the smoke in our face. Yeah, we could do all of that. It'd be tremendous. Thanks for hanging out, man. This was fun. When they said, let's do a baseball one, who should we do it with? I said, LaVelle. We got to do it with LaVelle. Even though he's a columnist now, he's got baseball roots, So thanks for doing it. It was good to see you, and hopefully I see you in person soon.
Hey, it was a good time, man. Look forward to talking to you guys tomorrow at 5:30 on the Fan.
That's right. I'll remind you again tomorrow. He's LaVelle E, Neal III. I'm Justin Gaard. Thanks for hanging with us tonight on Baseball and Brews. Big thanks, everybody, for watching. Major thanks to Xfinity Mobile for helping us out, providing the prizes, bringing us to you. Had a lot of fun. Like we said, we'll do it every week. My kids are asleep. My wife's probably asleep too. We're just hanging out anyway. So thanks, Xfinity, for all your help. Thanks, everybody, for watching. We'll check you guys out later.